Level 1. Homeless. Daily income $0 to $20. You don't have walls around you tonight. No address, no ID in your pocket that matters. Negative net worth, because debt doesn't disappear just because you do. You're pulling in somewhere between nothing and $20 on a good day, collecting cans, holding a sign, doing whatever the day allows. The entire game you're playing is the simple one. Don't die today. Where's warmth? Where's food? Where's a place to close your eyes without being woken up? Society isn't ignoring you, it's deliberately looking the other way. You exist outside the grid entirely. No account, no record, no voice. You're invisible to society. People walk past you like you're a ghost. Every single day is about one thing: survival. You're invisible to the world. You don't exist to it. This is ground zero. Level 2. Poverty. Annual income approximately $15,000. You have a roof, barely. You're clocking in at minimum wage, $7.25 an hour, which works out to about $15,000 a year before taxes take their cut. You have an address to write on forms, but it's held together with prayers and a landlord who hasn't raised rent yet. One flat tire, one hospital visit, one unexpected bill. That's all it takes. You're not choosing between wants, you're choosing between needs, rent or groceries, electricity or medicine. You're working a full week, every week, and still standing on the edge. The system wasn't designed for you to climb out of this. It was designed for you to stay here and keep working. You're trapped in survival mode. No savings, no future, just making it to next week. This is poverty. Level 3. Working class. Annual income $30,000 to $50,000. You're getting by, not comfortably, but getting by, somewhere between $30,000 and $50,000 a year. You drive a used car that needs a new something every 6 months. You rent, you pay your bills on time most months, and the months you don't, you spend the next 3 recovering. You've got maybe $5,000 sitting in savings, your emergency fund. If you lost your job tomorrow, it buys you about 8 weeks before things get dark. You're not poor by the technical definition, but you feel poor in the ways that matter. No cushion, no safety net, just a treadmill you have to keep running on or you fall off. You work 40+ hours a week just to stay in the same place. One bad month and you're drowning. You look for any edge, any opening. You teach yourself something new after hours just to have a shot. This is where most people live their entire lives. Level 4. Lower middle class. Annual income $50,000 to $75,000. Now you've got some room to breathe. Not much, but some. You're earning between $50,000 and $75,000 a year. You might own a home with a 30-year mortgage that will outlive your current car. You can take a vacation once a year. Budget airline, Airbnb, the kind of trip you plan for 6 months. You don't stress about groceries anymore, but tuition, that keeps you up. A major medical emergency, still a potential disaster. You feel middle class. You call yourself middle class, but the math tells a different story. You're one serious crisis from sliding back 2 levels. You feel closer to comfort than you think, but you're closer to poverty than you admit. Level 5. Middle class. Annual household income $75,000 to $150,000. This is what the American Dream poster looks like. Household income between $75,000 and $150,000. You own your home, worth around $300,000. Both cars are paid off. Your 401k has real numbers in it, maybe $100,000 to $200,000 saved up. You send the kids to college without having to take a second mortgage. Vacations are real, not luxury, but real. You have savings that feel like savings, not just a buffer against disaster. But here's the catch nobody talks about. Stop working and all of it vanishes inside 6 months. You're comfortable, yes, but comfort here is rented. It belongs to you only as long as you keep showing up. You've made it to actual middle class. The world calls you stable. You know exactly how thin that stability really is. Level 6. Upper middle class. Annual household income $150,000 to $300,000. You've won the traditional version of the game, the version most people are trying to win. Household income between $150,000 and $300,000. You're the doctor, the engineer, the senior exec, the business owner who built something real. Your home is worth $500,000 to $800,000. It's in a neighborhood with good schools and clean sidewalks. You drive new cars. You eat at places without looking at the right side of the menu. Your retirement account is stacked. You get trips to Europe. Your kids get the opportunities you didn't. By any global measure, you're rich, but you don't feel rich because you're surrounded by people who make you feel like you're still behind and you're still trading time for money. 50, 60 hours a week. The golden handcuffs are still handcuffs. You've won the traditional game, but you're starting to see a different one above you, and it plays by completely different rules. Level 7. Rich. Net worth $2 million to $10 million. Now the math changes. Net worth between $2 million and $10 million. Top executive, successful founder, elite professional with equity. You own multiple properties. The primary home is $1 to $2 million. You drive things that cost more than most people's annual salary without thinking twice. But here's what really changed. Your money is working while you sleep. Investment returns alone are putting $100,000 to $300,000 a year back in your pocket. You could walk away today and maintain your lifestyle. You probably won't because you like the game, but you could. That option is what separates you from everyone below. You have a financial advisor. You have people. You fly business class without upgrading. This is where the rulebook everyone else is reading starts to become irrelevant. Level 8, very rich. Net worth $10 million to $30 million. You've left the game most people are playing entirely. Maybe you sold a company. Maybe you were at the right place at the right time with the right equity agreement. Your home is in the $3 to $5 million range, and you have a second one for long weekends. You charter private flights regularly. Not your own jet, but close. Your investment returns are between $500,000 and $1.5 million every year, more than most people will earn in a lifetime of working. Your children will never need to worry about money, ever. You're in rooms with people whose names you've actually heard of. The world has started offering you things that used to be closed doors, but you're still not elite rich. You're still impressed by billionaires. Level 9, ultra high net worth. Net worth $30 million to $100 million. Top 0.1%. You didn't just build wealth. You built a machine that generates wealth on its own while you do whatever you want. You own businesses, not just stocks. Your primary residence is in the $10 million range. There are vacation properties, more than one. You have a full household staff, personal assistant, house manager, chef, security. Your kids go to schools where their classmates are the children of senators and celebrities. You write checks to charity that most families would retire on. Your investment income runs between $2 and $5 million per year. You don't wait anywhere for anything, but there are still levels above you that you're aware of, and every single one of them is watching. Level 10, Centamillionaire. Net worth $100 million to $1 billion. $100 million to $1 billion. You're a unicorn founder, a Fortune 500 CEO, or you inherited a dynasty. Your home is a $20 to $50 million estate. You have more than one, different continents, different climates. You own a yacht, 150 feet minimum. You collect things. Art, rare cars, timepieces that cost more than a house in Ohio. Your staff isn't a team, it's a department. 20+ people managing the logistics of your existence. You write $10 million charity checks and your accountant calls it smart tax strategy. Your investment income runs between $2 and $5 million per year. You don't wait anywhere for anything, but there are still levels above you that you're aware of, and every single one of them is watching. Level 11, billionaire. Net worth $1 billion and beyond. The club with 2,000 members on the entire planet. You built an empire or inherited one big enough to matter. Your companies don't just employ people, they shape local economies. Your primary home costs 9 figures. You have homes in every city where important decisions get made. Your yacht has a helicopter landing pad. Your private jet fleet has a jet fleet manager. Presidents return your calls. You fund campaigns not because you need access, you already have it, because you're shaping outcomes. Your philanthropy doesn't just donate to institutions, it builds them. Hospitals, university wings, research centers. Your name is on buildings that will exist long after you don't. Money stopped being the goal a long time ago. Now it's legacy. Level 12, Deca-Billionaire. Net worth $10 billion to $100 billion. Roughly 50 people on Earth are here. You didn't just build a company, you built a category, a technology, an era. Your wealth is functionally incomprehensible to most minds. You could spend $1 million every single day from now until your grandchildren are old and still die with more than you started with. You own media. You own infrastructure. You're trying to build settlements on other planets, not as a metaphor, but as a literal calendar item. World leaders don't just take your calls, they factor you into their decisions. When you sell equity, markets move. You're not participating in global politics, you are a variable in the equation. Level 13, Hecto-Billionaire. Net worth $100,000 to just under $1 trillion. $100 billion to just under $1 trillion. You are wealthier than most sovereign nations' annual budgets. Entire regions of the world have fewer resources than your balance sheet. Your decisions don't just affect industries, they ripple through the lives of billions of people who will never know your name. You could single-handedly end food insecurity in a developing nation and it would register as a rounding error on your net worth. You are funding AI research that will reshape what it means to be human. Space infrastructure, biotech, quantum computing. You're not building products anymore. You're building the world that comes next. Level 14, trillionaire. Net worth $1,000 billion plus. Theoretical. Nobody is here yet, but the math says someone will be, possibly within our lifetimes. $1 trillion, more than the GDP of all but 15 countries on Earth. You could buy entire nations, not figuratively. At this level, wealth stops being a personal metric and becomes a geopolitical force. You don't own industries, you own the infrastructure those industries run on, the satellites, the compute, the systems that the systems depend on. You are less a person and more an institution, a permanent force in how human civilization organizes itself. What do you do with $1 trillion? You don't spend it, you direct it. And what you direct it toward becomes the future whether the rest of the world agrees or not.